I was ready to go home. I
Really?
just didn't feel like I was ready for college my first year. Like I felt like yeah, I had my close friends, I had camp, but I felt like I was missing something.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Like I mean, I was doing good, but it was just like something where it wasn't easy for me to just leave, I guess.
Why not just go? Welcome to Five Big Questions. This is the show where I interview students, parents, professionals, and people you need to know. I ask the questions, I give you the best answers. Today, I'm talking to Jackie Herrera. She is inspiring. She's interesting. She's a first-generation student from the Yakima Valley in the state of Washington. I met her while doing events and was blown away by her. She continues to just be extraordinary. And the thing about first-generation students, those of you who aren't familiar with the term, first-gen students are the first ones in their family to go to college. She is tough. All first generation students, I'm telling you, the way that you are able to show up every single day and just deal with life is something that I think you don't always appreciate. And it's always amazing to me because I have so much respect for you. And as you'll see during our time together with Jackie, you know, she has gotten through it and continues to get through it and is just an incredible source of inspiration. Before we get into today's big questions, please hit that subscribe button. The subscribe button really helps this channel to thrive, so please hit that subscribe button. Also the like. Please like this video because when you like these videos, more people get to see these videos. If there's something you want to see, if there's someone you want me to interview, also please let me know because I want to make sure I can give you the best content to help you to have whatever experiences you want. Finally, who am I? I don't know if you were curious, but I'm Harlan Cohen, and I am a New York Times best-selling author. I've written a bunch of books. I've visited over 400 college campuses. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and what I've seen is so many students struggle when it comes to this whole college process. So I want to get you the best people and help you to understand the places where you can put yourself so that you can create whatever experience you want. So with that, let's get started. Let me introduce you to Jackie Herrera.
Hello, thank you for having me here today. It's amazing to be here. It's a great opportunity for me. It's such an honor as well for you to choose me to be here. So thank you so much. And I hope I could inspire someone and hope to answer some questions for other people that may have those questions. So originally I'm from Mexico. So I am a born Latina, Mexican. I was born in Mexico. So I came here to the United States when I was around 3 years old, around there. So I was practically raised here in Washington.
So for people who aren't familiar with where you're from, just to get a sense of, is it a community that people who are watching this and listening to this, can identify with? So paint a picture of that.
So Sunnyside, it actually used to be really bad here. When I was in elementary, there was a lot of like gang activity here in this town, well, specifically in the Yakima Valley. It was really bad. My brother was part of it. There was a lot of gang activity, like not just in my house, but like in our neighborhoods and everything like that. But once I got to high school, that's actually when gang activity started going down. And ever since then, it hasn't been that bad anymore. So growing up, I saw how bad it affected my brother and how, it was constantly like cops at our house. My mom constantly getting calls of my brother being shot or things like that.
Your brother got shot?
So, oh yeah, they actually shot up his entire car. I remember that they clearly, I was actually in a car once when they got shot. So yeah, so like
That's
growing up for
frightening.
me, it was like,
Was
oh
that
yeah,
frightening? I
my
mean, you're
brother.
so like comfortable with it, but like, I mean, did you have nightmares about that? Was that like, I mean, that's really a hard way to grow up.
Yeah, so I think it's weird because when I think about it, like I didn't think about it. I thought it was normal. To me, it was normal at that time. And like recently, right now, I'm actually realizing how much I normalized it when I was younger. Because I think about it now and like I would be freaky now if I'd been in a situation like that, you know? But
Right.
when I was younger, that was so normal to me that I'm like, what the heck? Why was this normal to me? But it was weird because like it was like, oh, it happened again kind of thing. I don't
Yeah.
know, it was weird. I remember my brother, because like I told you, he was in a gang, and he knew that things like this would happen. So he always taught me, like, if you hear shots, if you hear things like this, no matter where you at, just drop to the floor. And so I
Mhm.
was like, when I heard the gunshots, I just dropped. I was in the car and I dropped on the floor of the car.
How did you decide to go to college, and what were some of the other schools that you were interested in? Just explain that experience of even deciding that you're going to go to college.
Okay, so like I was saying, when I was younger, like I saw all of that happening around me. I saw how it affected my friends, because I had friends that got involved with it. So, and I saw how it affected my brother, how it affected my family, and how it affected me directly. So I think that's like when I kind of chose like not to be part of that, and that like I wanted something more for my life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to keep living in trailers. I don't want to keep, my mom took me to work in the fields with her since I was like 9 years old. So I also know how it is to work in the fields, and I know I didn't want that for the rest of my life.
Describe what that's like when you're 9 and you're going to work in the fields.
Okay, so when my mom used to take me, it was in the cherries, and I believe that's when like bosses weren't like so picky about taking your kids to work and anything like that. So we used to wake up maybe like at 4 a.m. We'd always go stop by like the corner store and get like chimichangas or burritos or something to take to eat. Um, and I remember that I would always stay inside the car until like it wasn't like cold anymore or something, because like that's and during the summer that's when we do the field work, and we go harvest cherries. We would harvest apples, pears. When I was in high school, we started harvesting onion, and that was like the hardest thing I've ever done. Like
Really?
harvesting onion. Yeah,
Why is
I
onion so
did it.
hard?
It's really hard because you're bending over, down, and up the entire time, and then you're with these big scissors in your hands. And you have to cut off like the roots of the onion and the top. So like you're doing that and you're putting it inside like this big bag, and then you have to lift the bag and put it like in the middle for that the machine, like the tractor, could come and pick up the big bags of onion. So I
Yeah.
was like, what, in high school, probably I didn't even weigh 100 pounds yet. So there I was picking up like something that was like half my weight, and bending over up and down like all day, literally all day. um I think I started getting like really bad back problems, and I had to end up going to therapy for that. And even then, my back still hurts a lot because of that, which is like, and that's why I say like I don't want that to be the rest of my life. And like I see a lot of like elderlies working there still, like working still in the fields, and
Yeah.
honestly, it makes me sad. Like I don't want that to be me. I don't want to be out there when I'm like 70, 80 years old. I want to be retired by that time. Like, even for my mom, like, I see my mom, like, she tells me a lot, like, oh, my back hurts, my hands hurt, everything like this. I'm like, I need you to stop working there. Like,
Right.
and it sucks because, like, working there, it's not easy when you're working under, like, almost 100 weather degree. Like it's really hot, and like the sun is like playing in, like hitting you, and like that's
Right.
bad because like not only that, but like you're also like, you're at risk for like skin cancer and things like that. So
Right.
there's a lot of risk factors when working in the field, like even carrying ladders. My mom has fallen from ladders, my brother has fallen from ladders. Like I've been so close to falling from ladders too, that are like 10 feet, 7 feet
That's
up,
when you're
and
doing the
that's super.
cherry. When you're doing the
Yeah,
cherries
that's your
or apples.
cherry apple here.
Yeah. That's fascinating. So you did that for many summers.
Oh, yeah, even last summer I still did that.
Yeah. Wow.
That's what my money in the summer. Just because like it's fast money and it's temporarily, and you don't need like education for that either. So you get a job like that.
How did you even know about college, and how did you even believe that you could do that?
So my mom would always tell me, finish school, go to college, but I never knew what college was. My mom didn't really know what college was, or like how to even get in either, because she didn't even finish first grade.
Wow.
So, and neither my dad. So they don't really know what that college experience is, or what even school is in general. So
Right.
where it really hit me was middle school. Because my mom, like growing up, I was always told not to say that I was from Mexico, not to say that I was born in Mexico, and that's because of migration, people. Um, but when I was small, I didn't know that. I was always like, okay, I'm lying. It's a game we're playing, like
Right.
that's what I thought when I was little. But in middle school, that's when my dad was like with us too, my stepdad. And my mom and my dad told me, oh, we're going to put your application for residency. And I'm like, what is that? Like, I don't know what the heck that was. I
Right.
just kind of went with the flow. And then once I had my meeting with the lawyer, the immigration lawyer, that's when she explained to me like literally everything, what it meant to be undocumented, what it meant to like finally have my residency if it goes through. So then that's where it really hit me like, oh dang, like I probably wasn't even gonna be able to go to college when I was, without my stepdad. I could be sent to Mexico anytime if I mess up. If I do something, whatever it is, like I could go back to Mexico
Right.
and lose all my education here and just lose everything that we had here. So that's when it really hit me, and that's when I was like, well, why are my parents doing this for me? And well, my parents told me like, we want you to continue your education. So I will always be so thankful for my parents because I know they worked so hard. They worked in the fields to pay for this. They like, my dad worked long hours and like semi driver to do this. Like I even worked with them to help them. Um, but at the time, like I still didn't really understand the importance of it until now that like DACA renewals and everything like that was happening. Like it scares me a lot, and it like I'm so thankful that I don't have to be afraid like DACA students have to be afraid.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be afraid though because I look up to them so much to be honest because
You,
I
you,
don't know how I would deal with it.
how did you choose Washington State University, the Pullman campus? How did you choose Washington State University? And what are a couple other schools and options that you were exploring when you were looking at college?
Okay, so when I applied, I believe, to like five different colleges. I applied to Heritage, Central, Eastern, WSU, and UW.
Okay.
But I kind of never really looked at UW.
So
I don't know. I
for
just
those
didn't
who
really
don't know,
like it.
UW is the University of Washington, the big
Yes,
the big campus in Seattle.
yeah.
Right.
But I didn't feel the vibe there. Honestly, I went there like maybe 5 times, 6 times to be honest, and
Wow.
not once did I feel the way that I felt when I went to WSU.
How'd you get to go there
To go
five
to
or six times? Given that like it was, it's a couple hours away, and it's expensive to go
uh,
to these places. How are you able to visit so many times?
Vera. I knew that I was always in it just because I loved the faculty that was there, and they would always tell me about like new opportunities of going to different colleges and everything. So what they do is that they kind of prepare you for like your ACTs, SATs. They also take you and to tour different colleges because what they really want you to do is to go to college, and that's what they prepare you for, kind of.
Yeah.
So that's like their main thing to like take you to tours of different colleges so you could see and kind of experience it and have that one-on-one conversation with like maybe a college student, which is like really helpful to be honest. Like I really enjoyed going to these different colleges, and I remember I looked up to these people when I was in middle school and high school. I was like, oh my god, I want to be like them. And
Right.
it's so crazy to think that now like I'm that person, that I'm just like, dang, I really made it here.
Isn't that the best?
So
It's great.
yeah,
I love it because when you're going through this stuff, it just seems so far away, right? And
it does. This
and
is like
it's
forever.
and it's so hard. And then you see these people who are just you in the future. I think for anybody who's listening and watching, I mean, this is just you in the future, and that's and you're so nice. Like you are so friendly, and you want to help, and we're so grateful that you're here today. So you applied to these different schools, then University of Washington wasn't good because you went there on these field trips through Gear Up, and you never got the vibe. So then explain to me how you
Yeah.
made your decision.
So when I was at Wazoo, at WSU, Washington State University, when I was there, I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved the people. I loved the community. I loved the vibe. Like I just felt like I was at home when I was there. And that's where I said to myself, I was like, if I don't get the X6, I don't care. I'm staying here.
Wow.
Like, this is
Okay.
where I'm gonna go. And it got really hard for me because my sister called me and she's like, hey, you got a letter in the mail for Heritage. And I was like, I was scared. I was like, okay, open it, and read it to me. She started reading it and it said, congratulations, you have been received the Act 6, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I started crying immediately.
You
I was
got the
like,
scholarship. You got the full ride.
yeah, I
The
got the
heritage.
full ride to Heritage. I got the full
Wow.
ride. I
Wow.
started even now I want to cry because like that was a lot of work. But I immediately started crying. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. Like, because I had set my heart to Washington State University by then.
Yeah.
So, and that's when I talked to my recruiter and I was like, hey, JR, like, I got the Act 6 scholarship. Like, I have a full ride. And he told me, like, Jackie, you're not staying in the Valley. And I was like, what? I got the Act 6, like, what are you
Right.
talking about? Because if I went to Washington State University, I had to pay $5,000 out of my pocket. For us, like, we don't have $5,000 laying around, like, it's not something we have in our account that we could just take out. Like, it's not something we could just like have. Like, that's not money we have. That's not extra money that we have.
Right.
Um, so I knew that if I wanted to go to school, like, I was gonna have to work my butt off that summer because my mom and dad were not gonna be able to pay that for me. Which is crazy because if you think about it, like $5,000, that's not a lot for school, but for us that was a lot.
I mean,
Like,
if
I
you
didn't
don't
have
have
that
it,
money.
yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have that money. So for me, I was like, dang, like $5,000, what am I gonna do? You know? But I had a friend at that time that told me, like, I'm not gonna let money stop me from going to the school that I want. And I was like, you know what, you're right. I'm not gonna let money stop me from doing what I want. And ever since then, like, I kind of have that mentality of like, I'm not gonna let money stop me from doing what I really want. So, that summer I applied for a lot of scholarships. Well, before my senior year ended, like, that's when I started applying for more scholarships. I started working with my brothers in their food trucks. So I would go from one job to another, to school, from to the other job to the other job. So I had 2 jobs. I had 3 jobs when I was doing that because I was also babysitting.
This is in high
So I
school,
had, yeah,
your
this was in
senior
high
year.
school. I was
Wow.
Yeah, I was babysitting. I was going to, because at that time I was doing running start. So I was going to college and coming back to work. And then during the summer, I did all that. Plus, I was working picking blueberries. And picking blueberries, like, it's not super, super, super hard, but it's really tiring because um, you wake up at 3 in the morning to get there on time to work and to like beat the sun before like it gets really hot. Because once it starts
Right.
getting hot, like, you don't do anything, to be honest. Like, it's really hot and you get exhausted, you get tired. So we always go start at 3 in the morning to be done by at least 12 before it gets really, really hot.
That was the first shift of your day of working.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
then
then
from
I'd come
there,
home, rest for about 2 hours, 3 hours, and then go back to work at the food truck with my brothers. And I wouldn't get out of the food truck until sometimes like 12:30, the latest. And then I had to wake up again at 3 a.m. So as you could tell, like, that's really hard on someone to like only sleep 3 hours and then go to work again.
this was the summer
So
before college.
yeah, this
Wow.
was the summer before
Right.
college. And I actually got in a car accident that
Oh,
time too
Jackie.
because I
Oh,
wasn't sleepy. Because I
yeah.
wasn't sleeping enough and it was just a lot for me.
So you applied to these different schools, and then University of Washington wasn't good because you went there on these field trips, threw gear up, and you never got the vibe. So then explain to me how you
Yeah.
made your decision.
So I met my WC recruiter and the camp recruiter. I knew my WC recruiter because I worked with him in his dad's cherry farms that he had, his acres.
Okay.
So that's how I met him actually, because I would work with his in his dad's acres and farm. So when I first met him, I told him like, yeah, I'm looking into Washington State University. He's like, really? I'm the recruiter for that school, blah blah blah. And I'm like, really? That's really cool. And ever since then, I kept in contact with him. my senior year came, he hit me up. He was like, hey, there's a preview, camp Wazoo preview kind of thing with camp. And I was like,
Mhm.
what's camp? And then he explained to me what camp was.
What is
Um,
camp for
and
those
at
who
the
aren't
same
familiar?
time, okay, so CAMP is the College Assistant Migrant Program, which is a program that helps specifically people with migrant working backgrounds. So either if your dad worked in farm, if your mom worked in the farm, if you worked in the farm, if your brother and sister worked in the farm, that's how they kind of accept you. So I am not in a residential sorority. I am in a multicultural sorority.
Okay.
So the way that I got to like kind of know about these fraternities and sororities when I came for Wazoo preview, because they were kind of shown to us what they are, and that look, they're the you know, if you're thinking about Greek life, there's not just residential, there's also multicultural.
Right.
You know, and that's where I was like, multicultural, that seems so cool. And I talked to a couple people
Right.
that were already in a multicultural sorority or fraternity, and they seem to love it.
What was your most
Yeah.
uncomfortable experience your first year in college, and how did you get through it?
I think my most uncomfortable one, you know, when you ask me this, it's so hard to like really think about it, but after like a while, I really think that it's talking about your mental health while
Yeah.
you're in college. Just because like especially where I come from, like my cultural background and everything, mental health is not something you really talk about. It's not something that's mentioned. It's not something that like it's, I guess, like something that's normalized. And then once you get to like college, like I realized how normal it is for people to have mental health issues, to like be in depression, to have anxiety.
So for
um
you personally, like, is there something, it's always helpful to really understand, what you dealt with, because, that was a big change and you were really around a lot of uncomfortable situations. Did you personally face some mental health challenges?
yeah, I did my first year. Like I was ready to go home. I just
Really?
didn't feel like I was ready for college my first year. Like I felt like yeah, I had my close friends, I had camp, but I felt like I was missing something.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Like I mean, I was doing good, like, but it was just like something where like it wasn't easy for me to just leave, I guess.
Why not just go?
I didn't leave because of my friends and because I did the process for my sorority. Um, I think having like people that are not your sisters yet, but they're potentially your sisters,
Right.
having them kind of really helped me, because especially my big Marisela, she really helped me in that aspect, as well as Sulema and Brandon. They were always there with me. And,
What did
you know, Brandon,
Maricela say? Was there something she said or did that, because it sounds like she really had an impact on you and really saved you from
um,
leaving?
Marisela, she's a person that's like, she's so, she has her own way of inspiring people, and it's so funny. She's just like, you know what, she has that like attitude, like that bad girl attitude kind of, which it's like I love it. Like she's like, you know what, screw that person if they don't blah blah blah, you know, things like that. And
Yeah.
I think that could be very helpful. Like she helped me a lot when it came to that. She's like, you know what, Jackie, you're here now and that's what matters. And she told me, she's like, you being home is not going to help your parents at all, you know. And if that's what you want to do, like, then you need to stay here kind of thing. And she always just encouraged me. Like whenever I needed to talk, she was there. Also Brandon constantly would tell me like, Jackie, like, you know, you're here. Like, you know, he would always just remind me of everything that I've done and everything that I'm capable of, which is like very helpful. And I thank God for having these kind of friends and kind of
Yeah.
people in my life, because, you know, it's weird to like kind of boost yourself up sometimes, which is something that I've learned to do a lot as well, being in college, because there is a lot of times where it's like, am I even good for this? Like even now, like I still get that feeling. um, and honestly, like I am so lucky that I have these people. Like even my mentor, my first year mentor was very helpful for me, Omar Sanchez.
Hmm.
He was constantly there for me when I needed to talk as well. Like even now he's still there for me a lot. Like I could call him, I could text him, he's like, hey, are you okay? Like
Yeah.
Do you need anything? Do you need to talk? Like he will stay on the phone with me to talk to me about anything that I have, anything that's wrong with me.
Give us a quick summary of like some of the things that like have just blown your, like you cannot believe that you've experienced, that you continue to experience, just so other people can see themselves in you.
2019, let me tell you, it was full of so many ups and downs, like just itself, because 2019 is when I went to study abroad. Like, I was campus leader. I was actually in the exec board for my entire community campus, my multicultural community. So it was just so amazing. But study abroad was the best thing I could have ever done. And I'm so happy I did it. And I will never regret the money I spent there because I actually took out the loan to be able to do that. So I'm so happy I did that. Like honestly, like I was saying, I wasn't documented. So 5, 6 years ago when people would come and talk about studying abroad and doing these amazing things, like I was like, I can't do that, that's not something for me. Like, you know, so I think now, and the fact that I actually cried when I was over there, I was like, I'm really abroad. Like I'm really doing this. Like this is something that 5, 6 years ago I tell myself like, oh, you can't do that, so don't even look into it. Um, or even afford that. Like I didn't think I was gonna be able to afford something like that. So I think just being over there, like really, 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 really made me realize like how lucky I am to like have the parents that I have the opportunities that I have. Like I may not have like a lot of money, but I always like I don't know why or how, but I always get myself into situations where I get these like amazing opportunities. If it's either through a program, if it's through work, like I'm actually working for a camp right now.
What's the best way for people to reach out to you if they have any questions and want to reach out?
If anybody wants to reach out and ask me a little bit more, maybe what I'm doing now, that could probably help you. Because I'm also in this program called McNair, which is to help first generation students with that identify as a minority group. So I am Latinx and I'm also a first generation student. I was born in Mexico, so all that applied to me. So McNair, what helps you, it's like doing grad school at your undergrad. So right now I'm barely like in the first phase. So next semester I'm gonna start looking into research and actually doing my own research for what I want to do. And that program, like it really sets you up to like really help you and be more successful in grad school, because I still want to go to grad school.
So what's the dream for you to go to grad school and
Graduate, and I actually want to help. I want to work within student affairs itself, and continue doing that and helping students like me as well, the same way that other faculty has helped me when I
yeah.
was struggling my first year. This is my mom.
Oh my gosh. She's like
My
the
mom just
hero.
got here.
Your mom, you're amazing, mom. Yeah.
Yes, they
She's
just
there.
go home for grocery shopping.
Oh my God. You know what? I love that she's there because she's incredible.